Want to know how to use a full license holder on your Part 3 or standards check? This is a sixth video in an 8-part series which will give you valuable advice and guidance on how to do that. If you haven't watched the previous videos, please check those out and get in touch with us if you have any questions or need support.
And I mean, these are all very relevant for her when she's not used to dealing with roundabouts at all. You know, they're relevant for anybody, but they'll be helpful for her because she doesn't know what to do. But I bet you she does know actually. But as to how to do it safely and options, she probably would come up to answer. She's intelligent.
Yeah, but sometimes people just need just a little bit of a prompt.
Yeah, in their thinking.
To consider actually what they would do. Yeah, it might not be something that she's given any conscious thought to.
Yeah.
Previously.
That's true.
So what you're trying to do, and again, this sort of comes back into sort of working with the human brain, is through her years of experience in driving, whether it's to do with multi-lane, spiral roundabouts, or any other aspects of her driving, she's built up a lot of experience, but a lot of that will have drifted away into her long-term memory.
Absolutely,
it's in there.
Yeah,
but sometimes, if they're facing a challenge with something, what they need to do is bring that back into their short-term memory. And by you asking a question, stimulates that process. And that's why you often get people, when you ask a searching open question, you can see them almost literally disappearing inside their heads. Their eyes go up. They're literally going back into the part of the brain that holds the long-term memory. They're searching that database for something. They pick it up unconsciously or subconsciously, and then they bring it literally back to the forefront of their head. And then they go, oh, yeah, you do this, wouldn't you? And then you're giving them confirmation and affirmation of, yeah, you're right.
Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah.
So, then again, that's something that you can put into practice on the move. Say, right, okay, and also we've got another, or we've got this roundabout coming up again. We're still working on the same stuff. It looks like you know what you're doing now, but just to remind you, think about if you've realised you're in the wrong lane, what are your options?
Yeah, and let her tell me.
Yeah, or show you.
Yeah, show me. Yeah.
She doesn't necessarily need to tell you.
Yeah.
But again, from an examiner's point of view, what they've realised is when you're sat at the side of the road, you've talked about risk management in terms of what happens if you accidentally get in the wrong lane and then you realise you're in the wrong lane.
Yeah.
What do you do then?
Yeah.
You've stimulated their thinking. They've explored some options and you've had a little short conversation about that. Now, hopefully she doesn't get in the wrong lane at the next roundabout. And if she doesn't, then that's great. But what you've done on the approach to the next roundabout is you've just brought her attention back to what are those options going to be if she gets it wrong.
Yeah.
So again, you're using the conversation that you had literally minutes ago, and now you're bringing her attention back to it because it's a possibility.
Yeah, absolutely.
It could happen. But what the examiner is recognizing is, and this is where you'll see on the 17 competencies, I can't remember which ones they are, but were opportunities and examples used to demonstrate learning and understanding. Were you drawing on other things that you had worked on within the lesson and bringing that into the lesson plan? Were you stimulating their thinking and encouraging them to identify solutions for themselves based on what is actually happening on the move? So just with a little simple conversation like that, and then bringing her attention back to it on the move is going to tick a lot of those boxes for the exam.
Yeah. And interestingly, one of the exits off that roundabout at the moment, has, as you approach it, there's 2 lanes that are possible for going ahead, or it's actually ahead, second exit. And normally, normal driving position, you would choose the left lane. And if she does do that, going ahead, the lane's actually blocked at the moment with roadworks, so she would actually have to mirror signal, look over her shoulder and move over to the other lane. So that would clarify that learning. That would, that would be maybe quite good route to take her nearer the end.
Yeah, absolutely. And almost, if you've had that type of a conversation and you haven't gone that way before during the lesson, then it's almost something that I wouldn't want to highlight to her prior to that happening. Because the temptation is to say, "Oh, just let you know, we're going to be taking this route now, but when you exit, there's roadworks blocking off the left-hand lane. So what I'd advise is get in the right-hand lane as we exit instead." So because you've had that conversation, what you want to see is her going, "Oops, I need to swap lanes," and then do that safely and correctly.
Yeah. So that would be quite good.
Yeah, so then that gives you an opportunity, then following that conversation through and going, great. So as we were talking about earlier, sometimes you do need to change lanes, but the way that you just did it there was absolutely fine, no problem at all. So yeah, if you do that every time, then that's great. But just be aware, it won't always be an option.
Yeah.
Yeah, so consider the other options as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's just, I just thought about that. If we're having that chat, that's an option then to go that way. So I probably go out tomorrow. The test on Wednesday morning, early 8:30. So I'll go out tomorrow and have a little. I know the area. I mean, I know it really well. It's not an issue at all. I don't want, because I'm so near. I probably don't need to nail it down to the last nitty gritty 2 or 3 minutes. Because I'll be near the test centre, whatever happens within 5 minutes. So it's more just planning it a little bit, but not over planning.
Yeah, I think almost the worst thing that you can do is have in your mind, and even worse still, written out a very detailed lesson plan in terms of what's going to happen, literally moment by moment by moment by moment by moment, all the way through that 40-minute drive. Because I can absolutely guarantee at various points things won't happen in the way that you thought they were going to happen. And if you've got that fixed view in your head and you're running it like a script, then as soon as things go off script, you're going to go into a tailspin.
And that's what happened with me in the last part 3. So I've learned from that because I had everything written down to the last bit and then it didn't happen. So I'm not planning to be like, I'm the kind of person that likes things very much. I like to know what I'm doing.
Yeah, and you're right. You do want to have a structure and a broad plan, but you should also allow a fair degree of flexibility within that.
Yeah.
So if things go in a slightly different direction than you thought they would, it doesn't completely throw you off balance. All you go is, oh right, okay, so right, let's just find somewhere to pull over. I just need to press the reset button.
Yeah. Sounds like a sensible thing to do. And I mean, I definitely will. I mean, and that's the thing. You can't say how many times you'll have to stop. But I mean, with Emma, I don't think, I mean, I'll certainly stop once after we've done the sort of, if she wants to drive the first bit, then I'll stop her maybe after the first one, even just to see how she's getting on, because that's just 2 minutes away from the test centre. Or we could do a couple of loops or something. We'll see. See how she's getting on.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.